Hello and welcome to the PowerTest 25 conference hosted by NETA. I'm Ellen Parson, Editor-in-Chief of EC&M, and I'm here in Orlando today going over some of the sessions, talking with subject matter experts, and I have one of those subject matter experts here with me today, Keon McEwen with Black Veatch, and I just attended your panel in there. We had 5 or 6 people, experts, talking about AI learning, improving operational efficiency and workforce safety, so a lot to go over there. So could you let us know your role at Black Veatch, kind of your title, what you do, how that's evolving with cybersecurity, and how that related to the panel and the PowerTest attendees?
Absolutely. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. My role at Black Veatch is Head of Solutions Development for Industrial Cybersecurity. So at Black Veatch, we've realized that there's a need to incorporate cybersecurity capabilities and functions within our build process and within our assets that we deploy. So in doing that, we're now focusing on cybersecurity for operational technology. And are you familiar with operational technology? For those that are not, it's technology that interacts with the physical world. So one of the ways I like to describe it, this is very elementary. So your thermostat in your home, a few years ago, the thermostat used to be a dumb thermostat. You have to go up to it and press some buttons to operate it. And now I can control that thermostat from anywhere in the world. So because I can control that thermostat and change the temperature in my home, I'm now affecting the physical world with technology. And think about that on a much greater scale, especially in our critical infrastructure. We have pumps and valves and PLCs that are operating plants and sectors of plants to do operations, and now these things are being connected and controlled from control rooms and other devices.
Right. That's a really good overview. That makes me understand that a lot better. So you talked about in the panel how cybersecurity, how safety has to be part of the discussion. So could you talk about what things do people need to realize when they're considering using AI? And it's obviously a buzzword right now, and everybody's talking about it, implementing it from a small to a large scale. Nobody really knows where that's going yet, but what role does safety play, and how do we keep that top of mind when you're looking at AI, options?
Absolutely. So the reason it's a big topic now, AI and safety, is because of that OT aspect that I mentioned earlier. When you have that interaction with the physical world, that's a safety implication. So if you think about what cybersecurity was before OT, it was really just your data being compromised. You lose some emails, you lose some proprietary information, you might lose some value there as far as monetary value, but it wasn't really related to life and our environment and that protection of those things. But now when we have this technology that's interacting with the physical world, we now have the ability to manipulate that safety aspect. And because of that, now your OT cybersecurity and incorporating AI and all these other emergent technologies in these type of critical infrastructures now becomes a safety factor. And because it's a safety factor, you have to look at it differently, and you have to prioritize it differently. And that takes a little bit more softer approach to help us understand how we go about doing that, but it's not something we can't do. It's something we've done for a while now at Black Veatch, and we have some experts that know how to do it. So it's one of the areas that we feel is going to grow more in the future, and that we need to pay attention to that safety and uptime aspect of AI and OT cybersecurity.
Okay, so I know, Black Veatch is a huge firm, industry leader, obviously. Could you tell us, just a few examples, obviously not the details of the jobs, but how you're incorporating AI, or I'm sure you're doing things that other companies aren't doing, how are you starting to implement AI at Black Veatch?
So at Black Veatch, we're doing a lot of things when it comes to cybersecurity, and then that folds into AI. So initially, when I'm talking about cybersecurity, if you think about an asset and how it's operated, that asset is already deployed. So you're trying to implement cybersecurity in a we like to use the terminology, a moving plane. It's already operating, it's already moving, it's already deployed, it's already being used, and you're trying to implement things while it's under that operation. But what Black Veatch we're trying to do is move that starting point further up. So when we're building that asset and we're putting that asset together and designing the asset, we're not only designing cybersecurity capabilities, but we're also designing clean build aspects so that when we go through the build process, we know we're not introducing any other vulnerabilities to that asset. So we're looking to bring that starting point further into the design phase to help overcome, because if you think about it, think about segmentation. In order to do segmentation on a deployed asset, you have to find time to bring down the network, redeploy switches that you already have in the field to new switches to be able to support it, and be able to deploy this new technology in these environments. So you have to shut down the plant. If you're doing it beforehand, you don't have to shut down anything. All you're doing is deploying it when it first starts. So you're saving time, you're saving money, and there's a lot of aspects to that are beneficial for all parties. And then when it comes to AI, the reason we're starting with the cyber is because that cyber foundation allows for not only AI, but any other emerging technology that clients want to pursue. So they have the ability to deploy AI and do those type of things in a more secure environment. And that allows us to use AI in two different ways. So we can use AI for, I'll say good and bad, well, two sides.
You mentioned the bad guys, so I did want to add. You mentioned the bad guys in the panel. You know, there's a lot of great things AI can do, but there's also a lot of bad ways it can be used, and people may not always think about that. And you did bring that up, which was a great point.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was saying to that point was the AI. We're doing this thing. We're trying to do this thing at Black Veatch. We're doing AI versus AI. So looking for ways that a opponent or the red team and the blue team can both be AI and see how AI goes against each other itself. So those are things we're trying to explore to understand what does AI look like in these type of environments, whether it's from the adversary perspective or from the protection perspective. So because both of them are using the same technology, not the same, but the same AI focus to help drive their achievements or their goals, whether it's goals to protect or whether it's goals to take down or take advantage of. So we use that information. We're trying to use that information to help us protect our clients a little bit better and give the recommendations and advice that can help protect them a lot better.
Okay. Wonderful. I know someone asked the question, I think at the end of the panel, like, where do you see things going 5-10 years from now? And you all were kind of like, well, it's changing like weekly, so I don't know that we can make any kind of projections for 5 to 10 years out. But you did talk about how you see things evolving, and you made a comment about, you know, the younger generation, it's not going to be as difficult for them, and we need to, you know, they grew up with this, whereas some of the rest of us did not. So where do you see that going as far as evolving with AI?
So there's two things there. I did bring up how the younger generation is really good at adapting to these type of technologies, right. But I think what we're also going to miss is that the older guys, they have that knowledge store. You know, they have that data store that you can't get when you first join a company or you first join the industry. It takes years to build that expertise. So we have to bridge that gap between that knowledge store going out and the new use of technology and the use of the younger guys coming in. So in order to do that, you have to be able to collect the data from the old guys, I guess you can say, to turn it into usable information for the new group coming in. But that's going to take not a completely different career path or approach. It's going to take a lot of training to get people up to speed on how do you use these technologies or tools to your advantage or to your benefit, right. Because they're going to be available to us all, but it's like a hammer. Everybody can have a hammer, but not everybody knows how to use it. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to use those AI tools to do the things we need to, and there has to be that people and that knowledge and that expertise behind it.
I think that's a great point to end on, because I know you said in the presentation, like, AI is only as good as the information that it's pulling from. So that's definitely, we're going to have watch that as we go forward. So I want to thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. That was a great panel discussion, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this in the future. So we'll probably be back in touch to see how things are going. We're here at PowerTest 25 in Orlando. Thank you, and have a great day.